everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about another line of storms that will be moving through the southern plains here, bringing very large hail, straight line wind gusts, very heavy rain, including the possibility for some very dangerous tornadoes here. It'll then be shifting northeast, bringing a lot of rain into the upper Midwest, even into the Great Lakes region, possibly getting 5 inches plus in some of these areas, so the flash flood threat is certainly here. Not only that, but we're also going to be covering an ongoing exceptional drought that's occurring in the southwest right now, as well as in the northern plains, though the system is likely to bring some more precipitation to some of these areas that need it very badly. So hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Before I discuss what's going on this upcoming week, we're just going to backtrack a little bit to last week, specifically on Friday, when we had 5 dangerous tornadoes just in the state of Texas alone, one of which was in Lockies, Texas, which is what you're seeing right now, where we actually had reports of EF1 and EF2 damage on each side of this particular town. So here's a little video I found of this tornado in Lockies, Texas. Let's go ahead and play it. See a very well-defined vortex here. See it kicking up a lot of dust here and dirt. Luckily in very unpopulated areas. You can see the debris getting lofted into the air there. Again, we had reports of EF1, EF2 damage from this tornado. See they're spinning in a clockwise rotation there, clockwise direction. You can see that rotation. That looks very fierce. Just roping right out there. Just stretching all the way into the clouds there. A couple thousand feet into the air. This actually may be another tornado that touched down in Lockies, Texas. So here it's about sundown. Again, they're not really rain wrapped like many of them are. These are actually very easy to see. Still part of the same system though that moved through on Friday. Here's one here a little more thin. Still has made contact with the ground here. I believe I actually posted these to my Instagram story. So it's basically what happened in Lockies, Texas on last Friday. So this is, I think here it's around 6:17 to 6:34 in the afternoon. So very destructive tornadoes, luckily in unpopulated areas. Surprisingly, no injuries from any of these tornadoes that touched down. Let me just get on with the next tornado. Here's another one I was caught on camera. Very photogenic one. Touchdown outside of Barron, Texas. It actually ripped through a farm. As you can see later in this video. But you can see this very ominous sky here. It's all part of that line that moved in along with that front on Friday. You can certainly see that condensation funnel there aloft. You can see this video isn't sped up too much and it's still rapidly moving across that field there. Close to the Oklahoma border. Actually ripped through a farm here in one of these fields. Here we are in Auburn. This area, the National Weather Service office out of Tallahassee, Florida, confirmed 5 additional tornadoes across this area. However, they were not as quite as severe or dangerous as they were in Texas, but still, can still cause a lot of destruction. So mainly EF0, some EF1s. So here we move a little further into the line as it did progress on Friday, and we get a little hail here that was associated with these storms. About quarter-size hail here in the Auburn, Alabama. You can see here the hail is falling very quickly. It was very widespread with the storm. It actually looks like snow, really just coating all the different surfaces out there. You can see this descending with so much weight, it's actually taking down all kinds of various different leaves. So it can really hurt agriculture as well as vegetation. So to sum it up, we had a warm front push on through the south this past weekend, forming a dry line that caused lightning, damaging hail, torrential rainfall, and very high winds, including some tornadoes. Unfortunately, some of these areas that were impacted this past weekend, they can actually see a second round of severe storms that will fire up again early this week, particularly tomorrow on Tuesday. Cities like Dallas experience very severe weather, quarter-sized hail, blinding rains as well, and the risk is here once again for this hail, straight-line wind gusts, and even some more tornadoes, although not as likely. As we move into the future, you can see that this is something we're watching very closely. Then again, this is just on the southern tier that we're seeing get all this rain, while farther north as well will spread the welcome of this much-needed rain. So flooding is another hazard we have to take into consideration. Of course, we have lightning will be another hazard as well, meaning it's very important to have a source that will notify you when there is a. So when we take a look here at the jet stream here, we actually see a dip or a trough in the north and west, which is a very favorable pattern for this area to get on some of the rain and snow, like we saw over the weekend in California. This dip actually spreads inland as well. This trough will move further south and east towards Arizona, meaning we can actually have some snow on the way to those areas. Again, they actually have widespread drought. We'll get into that later. So very much needed precipitation here, whether it be snow or rain. I know some areas in Colorado actually get rain for the first half, and then it will switch over to snow. It's all beneficial here in these areas. It wouldn't completely bust the drought, but it'll certainly have an impact on some of these exceptional areas. However, this same setup will essentially bring us that severe weather that I was talking about out ahead of this. So we're actually going to have a developing system here, as you can see here on this. This is zoomed in a little bit into the future, heading into tomorrow. But out ahead of this developing low pressure system that'll be moving along this dip in the jet, we have those stronger upper level winds that I can show you here. This is about 200 millibars into the atmosphere, so around 30,000 feet or so. You can see here that we have very strong winds, very stronger upper level winds here. You can see the winds are rolling here, especially in the red here. These winds are in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but will certainly enhance that damaging wind threat at the surface as well, which will give us that wind shear that'll really give us that initiative for some tornadoes to spawn. Now if we look here at the moisture here, this is about this is really surface level, 925 millibars, so really almost surface. We can see we got plenty of moisture here in the on the southern plains here that continues to funnel in from the Gulf of Mexico. But we also see this dry line just to the west that'll serve as a lifting mechanism. It'll be right here, placed right here in the it'll actually move throughout Texas. I'll go ahead and play the animation here at a forecast loop. Be a lifting mechanism to some of that some of the more you can see the dry line forming right there. So we'll have an updraft here, lift some of that warmer air into the atmosphere. You can see it moving on through here. So I'm going to have this dry line forming here, bringing us the likelihood of the initiation of some storms just out ahead of that dry line. But as of right now, we're good for traveling out in Texas. I-35, I-45, even I-20. We're seeing partly cloudy skies, very good conditions. Unfortunately, the clouds will certainly build up tomorrow when the humidity, relative humidity, builds up and lead to the possibility of some severe thunderstorms tomorrow, especially later in the day, during those afternoon and evening hours. In that time frame, even after sunset, there's going to be a potential for some supercell development. We can't even rule out the possibility of some tornadoes as well. I'll go ahead and show you the SCP outlook. You can see here, this is tomorrow on Tuesday. You can see the 4 panel here. This right here is our hail outlook. This is what we're looking at so far as the winds. Here's a tornado outlook. I know the Weather Channel actually put out a Torcon 3 in this area right here, ranging from southwestern Oklahoma and really close to that panhandle, really in north central Texas. That's where its greatest risk is going to be. Even here you see Storm Prediction Center outlook. We have a slight risk for much of this area here, all throughout really western central Texas into really a good portion of Oklahoma here, really all of central Oklahoma. So really from Elk City to Abilene, Texas, Elk City, Oklahoma, that is. We have quite a big risk for some tornadoes here. Go back to the GFS model here. We go ahead and look at this time frame. So start off today, we have some activity here to start off the day for really the first half of the day. But again, we are more concerned with the storms that develop later on in the afternoon to the evening hours, where we'll see some very dense, severe storms developing and moving across the Red River Valley, also causing the possibility of some flooding for this area. And then we bring in that threat for portions of eastern Texas here. As you can see, it will move really northeast from here. Not expecting too much severe weather here for the deep south and the Mississippi and Alabama, although the severe weather would still be there. It wouldn't be as severe as it's going to be in the Oklahoma and Texas region. That's where we're going to see most of the tornadic activity. Here we may even see some severe thunderstorm warnings. 20 to 1 cannot be ruled out, but I really don't anticipate it on being anything higher than EF1. Then again, so the more severe activity actually moves north here, bring a lot of rainfall. I'll get into that later. Very high rainfall totals that we are anticipating here. See here, it really stretches out this marginal risk. So not only do we have the threat for tomorrow, but Wednesday too. Not as severe, but it's still there. The threat is still there. So for the southern plains, it's up to the upper Midwest, we are on alert with these storms that can produce hail as well as heavy downpours at times. So some of these areas could actually use the rain. Let me actually just move back to the jet stream here. Here's our setup for us for the early part of the week, where we actually have, of course, we have the trough that I mentioned earlier, digging through the western part of the country here. But we're also going to see an area of high pressure building in along with a ridge that are beginning to form farther east from here. And that is actually the factor that will hold things up for us a bit, if you will, which will allow the trough and upper low to just move right on through here and blast across the country. Although it's going to take its time. I'm going to move back here to what we're looking at here. It's going to be very slow moving, actually. I mean, we're right here. This is about Friday we ever set up at, and it's still here in the deep south here, so it's very, very slow moving. I think you see here, it's going to start off here in Texas. This is actually this is on Wednesday. About Wednesday afternoon, we're seeing those storms, and just like that, we're Friday, so it doesn't really make a lot of progress here the coming days. That's why we're going to see some of these higher rain totals. It's basically going from Tuesday afternoon into Friday. Rainfall gets a chance to definitely add up here for us. This is actually the 48-hour quantitative precipitation forecast we got here. As you can see here, the rain is very widespread here. Many areas receiving 1 to 2 inches here, with some pockets of higher totals into portions of the Ohio Valley, 2 to 3 inches, even up here, and locally higher amounts here, even from I want to say 3 to 5 inches. Definitely 3 plus in some of these areas here in the yellow. There you go. So you see 5 inches here in eastern Oklahoma. These aren't always very accurate, but I still believe we're going to get some rainfall. I'm looking very close to this, considering how slow this is going to be moving. So again, the system works its way through the nation all the way through Friday. When you add all these storms together, tomorrow until Wednesday, there's that possibility we can see some flash flooding. Right now we have a few flood warnings in eastern Texas, also across Louisiana, even into southern Mississippi, southeastern Arkansas. I'm expecting this to be a lot more widespread by even tomorrow, especially Wednesday and Thursday. And Friday, when it finally moves out, it'll finally push out, I believe, into Friday. Even through this weekend, it's really going to push out here through the coast. But until then, all throughout the week, I believe we're going to see very widespread flood warnings. Right now, we even have a few. This actually isn't part of the same system. So Oklahoma, you're actually in the middle of that zone. Then as we head into Wednesday, we'll expand. I believe it's going to expand all the way down to the Rio Grande, possibly up into portions of the Great Lakes as well. So again, it may work its way up into the Great Lakes, this flood threat, at least into the southern portions of lower Michigan. I can see that flash flood potential as it moves up just a bit. So, more rain and thunderstorms for Wednesday, as I mentioned earlier. Even getting into Wednesday night, we've got that from Dallas, Texas, all the way over towards Little Rock. I'll go ahead and play that animation again as we move a little further in here. This is what's Wednesday? This is what we're looking at around Wednesday night here. So like I said, from Dallas, Texas, all the way down here, all the way up towards Little Rock here in Arkansas, especially moving into Missouri as well. Even some of Illinois. This whole area is going to get again, I almost really just flooded with all this rain here. So even up towards Nashville, Tennessee, we can see some of that rain on Thursday as well. It'll push even further. We'll move it up to Thursday here. It's around Thursday morning, getting into lunchtime here. We can see that line still hasn't even moved out of Texas yet. It's still stretching up here into the northern Midwest. But you can see this is actually Thursday. It's actually Thursday. Wednesday afternoon, this line was set up right here. By Thursday, it's just going to be right up here. It hasn't really moved much. Again, Texas is a big state, so we're still very slow moving. So we move back to the 48-hour accumulation here, likely resembling the rain totals from Tuesday into Friday. As the rain moves further north, we may see 1 to 2 inches here. Again, parts of the Ohio Valley into the interior sections of the Northeast getting wet there as well. Now we're just gonna look more west, back to that trough. So we're just gonna move to the GFS again. We'll go ahead and backtrack it. This is gonna be more soon. So as you can see here, we actually have some snow showing up here in some of the Rockies. Actually, before this, I believe it's going to move through the Sierra Nevada mountains up here around California and Nevada. See it's hoisted up here, even in portions of Arizona. So as you can see here, we may actually see an early spring snowstorm here for some of the Sierra Nevada mountains. We actually see the system delivering moisture to some of the areas of the west as well. We're actually seeing the same system deliver some of the moisture to the other areas of the west as well that could really use it. Again, I was talking about the drought earlier. This exceptional drought has really crept up here in parts of... let me actually move it to the drought monitor. it really crept up to some parts of the Utah and the Four Corners region, down into parts of Arizona, New Mexico, all under exceptional drought. We may see some rain and snow here, depending on your elevation and which region of the state you're in. But either way, much needed precipitation. So we will still have that moisture streaming in, bringing us a little bit of that rain out there across the inland areas and even to the Empire area of Southern California. You see that snow and even some of that rain falling across western parts of Utah here. See some of that snow beginning to develop here. Even some of that purple there you just saw in Colorado. Like I said, I believe we're going to get some rain here in the first half of the system. But then by the second half, we're going to see some of that snow. Just you can see right here traveling right along behind it. This purple area. So very heavy snow there, followed by a lot of rain you're going to get. So all the way around, still much needed rain. So now let's go ahead and look at some of the snow totals we actually have set up here. We're looking at very high totals here. It's not very widespread. It's not going to be very widespread. So it's really going to affect more of the higher elevations. But you can see even here we got some up to maybe I want to say 3 to 5 inches here in some portions of Arizona around Flagstaff, where they're actually in an exceptional drought. So very welcome rain here. So as I was saying earlier, the snow will be in the really the Wasatch Range, where we have this winter weather advisories that'll be set up. The system will eventually move into the areas around northern Arizona, as I was talking about. So very much needed snow. Rainfall amounts generally up to an inch here. Rainfall amounts generally up to an inch here, as you can see in some of these areas. So again, we have the snow and rain really coming together to really just help alleviate some of this drought we have going on. So again, as for the snow, we'll go back ahead and look at totals here. Possibly, I want to nearly a half a foot to a foot here in some of these areas. You can see here we have 13 inches. Some areas over here we have 8 inches. So yeah, really a foot to a foot. I don't know if we're gonna get up to 13 or 15 inches. We'll have to see. I believe we may just top it off at a foot. Possibly more though. It's not out of the question. So going back to the drought, we're not only seeing this exceptional drought here, we even have some extreme drought up here in the northern plains, especially in portions of North Dakota here. Actually, I know I just found out that more than 40% of the northern plains considered to be in a severe to exceptional drought. It really has taken over some of the portions of the southwest and even the northern plains. This is so again, this exceptional drought is actually the highest category of drought you can actually get. So the fire threat is also here as well. We'll go ahead and check that right now. We can see some of the advisories we have, specifically red flag warning. See, it's very widespread here across New Mexico, even some of our western Texas, portions of Arizona as well. So we even have this wildfire threat. You can even see here in portions of Colorado, even northwestern Kansas. So if we actually look back to this relative humidity here, see it's very, very dry. Around 8% here in Pueblo region, really around 21% in the Phoenix area, 8% in El Paso in that region. Getting a little higher here, we move into Las Vegas, probably about in the 40s. Then again, some areas have the red flag warnings. They're really suffering from this humidity in the air. I mean, 7%. That's very, very low. Getting into the teens here across New Mexico. So very low relative humidity amounts. Hence, all the red flag warnings we have in place here. Those are the main big stories they need to know for this week. Severe weather in the south here. You can see this line forming here. We're going to see the severe activity from Tuesday afternoon all throughout Wednesday into Thursday. By Thursday afternoon into Friday, so we're going to be mainly rain here, not too severe in this area. We do still have that. We do still actually have that marginal risk in the upper Midwest here into the Great Lakes region, but here in the south it's going to be much more severe. You can see that dry line beginning to form, holding all that severe weather. Tornadoes even a possibility. Again, we also have that drought working its way through the southwest. Even has that wildfire threat. Fortunately, we may actually have an early spring snowstorm. We go ahead and backtrack a little bit on the radar here. We actually see a lot of that snow beginning to gather here in the Wasatch Range, even into the Sierra Nevada mountains here. Seeing a lot of that snow beginning to develop, even into California here. It's actually really going to be going on this afternoon. Even right now, we're seeing some of the snow begin to develop here throughout Nevada and California. I'm really hoping there's as much snow as possible here in some of these areas in the Four Corners region. They need it very much. So guys, hope you enjoyed this little weather update here. I'm planning on doing more of these whenever I get a chance. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you guys really enjoyed these updates. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.